Hello, hello. Today with Erika, I am back with another entry for the Gratitude Collab hosted by Creating with Jovi and Cindy Lewis. And of course, all of the other collaborators, they are all listed here, but I will link them in the description of this video below. So definitely check them out and look at their entries. I had so much fun reading and seeing their different journals and what they put together for week one. What scent instantly makes you feel at home? Baking goods. Yes, that makes me feel like at home too. I loved that. Some really awesome, intimate little stories and things too. So I really appreciated listening to and watching all of the lovely ladies in this collaborations journal entries for week one. So we are at week two, y'all. It is, what is your favorite family recipe and why? So, alrighty, I have so many recipes in my family, but if you're like me and have a family that, yes, we have recipes, especially on my dad's side of the family, that would actually be like a recipe card. But with me in the kitchen, and if it's baking, then yes, you need a recipe. But like an actual, measurements and all that, because you can't mess up baking. On my mom's side of the family, she is not a baker. Either is my grandmother. So in the Philippines, especially back in the day, they didn't have ovens. And there's a lot of families that still do not have ovens. However, my mom was raised in the United States of America since she was a little girl. So she, had all of the amenities and comforts of an American home, thankfully. And she was raised part of her life, in the military as a military brat, you could say. But anywho, so she did have all of those luxuries of what America has. But my grandma, coming from a family that didn't have those things, she is not a baker. So she didn't bake. So she therefore didn't teach my mom to bake. But I am a baker, thankful to my dad's side of the family, my grandmother and my aunts on my dad's side of the family. And of course, my dad too taught me how to bake. And then I did a lot of learning and making mistakes in the kitchen and doing all that jazz. I can remember a time when I believe I was probably 15 years old, 14. And I made my first from scratch, baked my own apple pie, and I made my brother help me. He's 2.5 years younger than me. I made my middle brother help me do it. And I was so proud of myself because, like I said, I made it from scratch, the dough and everything. And lo and behold, I made my second big baking mistake. In the past before that, I remember using too much baking soda or baking powder, or got them mixed up. So yeah, that's a whole nother story too. And that was when I was making, I think, a pumpkin pie or something like that, or maybe even cookies. So those didn't turn out. But yeah, I was making a apple pie and I was so proud of it, but I did not bake the crust first. So the crust was raw. And so I learned about all those things on my own, because again, like, I don't have anyone, and we had the internet back then, but it was more like when you print off a recipe and you follow it, which you can do now, but you didn't have it at your fingertips, like on an iPad or on a phone, or that you could look it up real quick, right? So it was a recipe that was probably handed down from a family member, and I just didn't read all the instructions. I thought that I could just like whip it up and do it. Yeah, learned the hard way. So all of that hard work didn't end up working out, but I have that memory to go by. So anywho, just a little story time. Like I said, these little gratitude collab entries for the journal are going to be like a sit down, hang out with your girlfriends, chit chat type of thing. So I will be rambling, talking, and then of course doing my entry. And if y'all like this style of video and enjoy it, please leave it in the comments below, and I'll continue to do like journal entry chit chats with y'all. I do want to bring back my Bible edition on Sundays. I just have not had the time to put into a Bible study and to be able to film that and then do the journal entry at the same time for the art journal type of Bible journaling. So I'm trying to figure out for the new year how I can implement that into my filming schedule, getting it edited on time and uploaded for every Sunday for y'all. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that and still keep it intimate and everything. So anywho, let's jump into this gratitude collab. And then, like I said, week 2, what is your favorite recipe and family recipe and why? Also, back to that. So, like with my family, it's like you just know the ingredients. You tell them what you need and about the measurements and about like how much you need. and that's it. We don't get down to the nitty gritty of like, okay, this, get out a scale and weigh it and, you know, this, and this and that. Nope. So whenever someone asks me for a recipe, it's more like, okay, let me give you the ingredients and it's to taste. You know what I mean? Like I will whip up so many types of different crock pot dinners, different stir fries and all that jazz. And it's just, you know, from my own memory, like in my head, and or I'm making them up as I go, and I know what tastes good. So one of the things that my daughter like always says is, my mom always has like the best cooking and her food's always so tasty. Like I just can't season like her. And it's just years of trial and error just doing it. So I'm not an expert by any means. My brother used to tell me, Erika, you should go on to the Gordon Ramsay, like one of his cooking shows or one of his contests. I'm like, he would eat me up. He would eat me up and spit me out so quick. I would be crying on that show. It'd be great for the drama, but I just couldn't do it because under pressure and anxiety, and I'm not like one of those proper, like, this is how you chop it, this is how you peel it, this is how you grate it. Nope, I'm like, chop it up, put it together. Ooh, that tastes good. Let's enjoy a tasty meal. You know what I mean? If you're that type of person, leave it in the comments below. If you love to cook, if you don't love to cook, what's your favorite recipe that's from your family? Leave it in the comments below. I'd love to know. I'm going to use this gatherings page where I ink the edges of the page, and then I just fussy cut a leaf out because I loved how it went with this leaves here. Like I mentioned before, I mixed Cindy A. Lewis and Creating with Jovi and Cindy's journal kits together, but I will link all of their information in the descriptions of my gratitude collab entries, like videos, so that way you can find all of their links to some of their freebies. I believe they're in their Facebook groups, their private Facebook groups, which I'm not a part of, I don't think, but then you can also purchase it for like $4 or something. The kits, they're inexpensive. You can print them, you own them to have and use over and over and over for multiple projects. So I feel like that is such a bargain. Anywho, let's get to our entry. So what favorite family recipe and why? Okay, so what is? So I'm going to tell you this right now, that one of the favorite recipes is one that my grandmother just made. Okay, so it's eaten with rice, but you don't have to eat it with rice. But it literally is just buttered chicken with carrots, potatoes, onion, and garlic, but it's the way that you cook it. And it's so tasty. It's so yummy. And you just serve it over rice and a little salt and pepper. But like, it doesn't have fancy ingredients. And we don't say you need this much meat. Like I said, we just put it together. What tastes good, what, you know, and and it has potatoes, and just, it's yummy and I love it. It's a carb heavy meal, but it is so good, and it just feels like home, and it's a family favorite recipe of mine. Even my brother makes it for his family and they love it, his daughter and wife. So yeah, that would be one of them. And then I would say chicken adobo on the family side, which there are recipes for that, but I'm not going to write that in my journal, like the actual recipe, or even share it with y'all here, because like I said, it's in my head. But you can go look up and Google those recipes, or I can put in the description below, or if you comment and are looking for one, I can give you a link to a recipe that's similar to the one that I use. But that's what I would say. And then for on my dad's side of the family, I would say that it's just a lot of baking with my dad's side of the family, like that they've taught me, but then I've adapted those recipes into my own. So really, honestly, just within my own house and hold and family, I would say that my favorite family recipe would have to be asked what my kids think. Like my daughter, like I said, there's so many. She loves my chicken corn chowder. It's my own recipe that I've adapted over time and years. That's one of my husband's favorites that I make too. So I'm just going to write down the different ones in my journal and call that my entry. Okay, so we got week 2. And this is November 2025. And I don't even have my phone here handy. Actually, I haven't even taken it off the charger this morning. I need to go get that. So I think it's the 11th. I don't know, y'all. But we'll add that in there later because I like to know for myself. But the week 2, and the question is, what is your... And props to y'all who have some beautiful handwriting. Your penmanship is absolutely lovely. I love it so much. I wish that mine looked as good as yours, but it is what it is. Okay, so week 2. What is your favorite family recipe and why? I'm going to put on here from my Gram. We call her Gram, but it's Lola in Filipino. It's butter, chicken, potatoes, and carrots, because that's like the gist of it. Like that is the ingredients that you need, of course, and then other things. And then, or chicken adobo. Oops. Why am I? This happens to me every time. And then look, I can't use white out. That's just ugly. Why can I not write right now? Let's just turn that into, actually, you know what? I'm going to put a little fall leaf right there because we got a leaf there. So we got a sticker right here, and we're just going to fix that little oopsie doopsie there and do chicken adobo because that's always, and this is a favorite from everyone who ever tries Filipino food for the first time. I feel like if you like chicken, you're going to love this with rice. So chicken adobo. So that's on from my gram and my mom's side. My mom makes chicken adobo so good. So I'm going to say chicken adobo from mom. And then we'll just put from, oh my gosh, Erika, it's too early for me. Okay. I'm trying to do videos earlier in the morning, so that way I have less noise. Hubby's already at work and all that jazz. Okay, so from mom, chicken adobo from Graham, and then I'm going to say baking from my dad's side of the family. And then I'm going to say chicken corn chowder. Honestly, I have so many different soups that my kids and my family just love, but chicken corn chowder from myself and our family. And like, so that's what I'm going to say for those. I didn't get fancy with this entry today. I have next week, it's week 3. It says, what sound from nature soothes you? So please, if you want to join in, definitely do so. Create yourself a journal. Pick up their kit. You can even use their freebies and add it to your other stuff, to your own. Some of the collaborators in this have taken a journal that was gifted to them and then just used the digital kit, like making a cover. Some have mixed in, like, and made a full-on junk journal with other pieces from other, like things and places. I mean, they could be a menu, a napkin, what have you, a receipt. But I just decided, like I said, to keep it simple and not so thick. And I just went with mixing the 2 kits together. The only thing that I used outside of their digital kits and their ephemera was, of course, the binding system from Thermal Cinch, and then there are ribbons and things that didn't come with it, obviously, but everything else did. And then these stickers that I've used, like here, which was from Michael's, a recollection pack. But other than that, this is all them. This is all Cindy and Jovi, and I love all of the different little tags that I was able to create, and I really am going to finish using this journal. There are other prompts and things, like I've said before. I think that I'll just film putting and creating that, and maybe I'll add it to this video, like all of these words, inking them, and maybe I'll put it at the front of the video, at the beginning of the video, speed it up, I'm not sure, and then show myself gluing them in or something, put some music and make it just like, instrumental and like fun, and make this a little more creative of a video. But this is what I have so far for my gratitude collab journal. Thank you so much to Jovi and Cindy for inviting me to be a part of this collab. Again, definitely go check out the other collaborators. Thank you for watching. And that's it for now, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.